So we're at the orangutans, and there's some of them over there playing around and stuff. And it's fine, but then there's a big feller right up against the glass, like laid down, not moving. If you look down, they're like, you see its fingers up, just like this right here, right?
Yeah,
And so he's sitting there like this. And Katie gets down first, like on one knee, and pulls her phone out and is trying to get real close and like take a picture. And I lean down there beside her, and I'm like, what's wrong, buddy? Looking like that. And Bishop leans down and goes, "Why are you staring at his butthole?" Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back, Airheads. It's time for Putting on Airs. That's right. Here we are in the virtual Airstream studios. There's Cho. He's got back from a fun-filled fall day, as I understand it, running through the pumpkin patch, doing corn maze shit and whatever else you do in the fall for fun.
and it was lovely. I enjoyed watching Bane have fun, but my wife kept insisting that this was a fun activity for Bane. Yet when Bane got over all of it, it seemed that we had to continue to trudge on, even though it was for him, which I didn't understand. I was like, well, he seems like he'd like to leave. No, we can't, just like that episode of, well, maybe it was Family Guy or something, but just like she's turning and like, God damn it. We paid for this fun and you're going to fucking have fun. Are you having fun?
Mm-hmm.
She's not, I mean, I love my wife and not to shit on her, but it was just one of those like straight out of the movie, old school feeling type dad days that I had where it was just like, it's like, are we having fun though? I don't think anyone. And I cannot tell you how many times I explained the sunken cost fallacy to Amber today. Like so many times. She's like, but we got this bag. We have to put the apples in the fucking bag. And I was like, it was $20. I said, my time is worth more than that. We don't have to do it. We can't just leave and not go down there. Even though it's Bane's upset and all this shit. We got the bag, And I'm like, well, okay.
How far did you have to go to this? You purchased a bag in advance, which grants you entry into the Fall Fun Fest area, which is hours away.
Yeah, so it's Ellijay, Georgia, which is lovely. Again, please understand, everybody, that I'm just sitting down, having come straight out of the car, so I'm a little ornery. But like, I love my wife, I love my son. We did have a great time. It just was. I don't do well in situations where, like, despite everything about me that most people seem to know from this podcast, I actually, attempt to be a very logical person when it comes to things like this. And as soon as logic is thrown out of the window in a situation, I don't handle it really well because my brain just goes, none of this makes sense, though. Why would we do that? Like, why? That doesn't make any sense. And Amber, boy, logic left her a long time ago. And that's part of her charm. I love that about her. She's a very seat of her pants type person. But yeah, it's Ellijay. It's about an hour and a half away. And now this part's my fault. Like last night, you went to the zoo this week too. There was a petting zoo there too. So me and you've had some animal filled days, which that was lovely. Bane loves goats so much. And it's so cute to see him love goats. But it was like an hour and a half away, and this part is my fault. Last night, we went to like a little pre-Halloween pumpkin carving party with Amber's friends, and I've been doing real good about not drinking. And most of the time, I'm just by myself or with my family. Very easy for me to not have a drink. For some reason, whenever her friends get thrown into the equation, I find it near impossible to not have a drink because I'm like, mainly because I don't.
They don't hit.
Yeah, they don't hit, and now they're good. They're good enough people. They're just me and none of them have anything in common. So in order for me not to look like I'm having the worst time in the world, because I'm a terrible actor, like I wear my emotions on my sleeve.
Right.
If I have 5 beers, though, I will be having a good time talking to these boring ass fucking people,
So is this also one thing you and Amber have always, and I assume Amber's primarily the impetus for it, but like y'all be doing a lot of like 30-something white suburban married couple like activities like that, like a pumpkin carving party with was it? I'm
It was
assuming it's
family,
all
mostly family.
couples. Like it's
Well, yeah, and it was like, her brother-in-law and sister, and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, who again, I'm not counting them as, but I do, everybody there I love. Please don't get it twisted. I love these people. It's just like they just want to be like, oh man, I'll tell you what, my 401k took a hit, and I'm just like, I don't even know what that means, and I've lived my whole life, so I don't have to know. Like I don't give a fuck, And
did they
granted,
turn the pumpkin carving into like? Does everyone have their own individual pumpkin? Do you
yeah.
pick your own design? Is there a judging element to it? Any kind of competitive aspect, or like?
The kids are too young. I think the judgment will probably come later. I think right now it's more like participation pumpkins. You know what I mean?
So only the kids have pumpkins. You help the kids carve pumpkins, or each of you?
I
Did you
didn't.
have your own pumpkin?
No, it was just they were helping the kids. I didn't because there was a ball game on, and I went inside and watched the ball game with the one person there who I'm like, well, we watch ball games together, and because a ball game will solve when you got two men. If the only thing they have in common is that they like a ball game, that's enough for 3 hours. Like that's plenty.
For
We
sure.
because we can talk that this ball game's on. We can talk about another ball game that happened maybe 5 years ago that reminds us of this ball game. Then we can talk about a different sport. And the next thing you know, 4 hours are gone. And hopefully we never see each other again. But yeah, they were out, and some of the kids are too young to carve. So they were painting the pumpkins. Very cute, very nice. There was pig in a blanket and chili involved, which is nice. But point is, I got some disease. I can't put my finger on it, where once I start drinking, I can't, for the life of me, I don't know what it is. I cannot put a cork on it. And I say I can't. I only had 10 beers last night, and and you know me, that is me going, okay, let me.
Yeah, taking it easy.
I need to stop. I stopped at 10. There was
that
more.
Still counts as stopping. Yes,
it does. There was more beers. I could have had 25 if I wanted to.
10 of them all imbibed at the pumpkin party.
No, I had a couple when we got home because we watched 28 Days Later, and it just sort of rolled into it. I was like, well, I got a couple here, and I'll just, I'm going to, it'll be fun to, I find that when you start drinking, it's fun to continue. You know what I mean? It really.
Well, as soon as you stop,
that ain't it.
It starts to not hit.
It starts to not hit. Yeah, which is
and
what
you don't want that to happen.
Which is what I'm experiencing.
That's supposed to what drinking is just putting off the eventual not hitting as 100%. Long as possible, even though everyone knows it will arrive at a certain point. Well, but you don't want it to be now.
No,
you want it to be later.
Yeah, of course.
Now is.
And every beer you have, the later it gets. Yeah. And I mean, a wise man once said, like, when you drink, you're just borrowing happiness from tomorrow, which is it's very true. But my point is, the reason that part of my anxiety at this apple picking was 100% my fault was because the reason I stopped at 10 is because on that 10th, my wife goes, and remember, we're getting up in the morning to go to that app. And I was like, fuck. Like, if I'd have thought about that for 2 seconds, I just wouldn't have drank, So boy, getting up this morning, rolling over, and then knowing like, hey, at least I get to carry my 35-pound child miles through a thicket. Right. That'll be fun, Did
you do a corn maze?
There was a corn maze. We didn't fuck with it for too long because Bane kind of walked in and was just like, my whole life is confusing. I don't need to add this to it.
Those corn mazes are like, they're not, fall fun is also the same time as spooky season and stuff. And it's like corn can be, a lot of creepy shit has gone down in corn, that's for sure. But the corn maze mostly meant to be fun. But I remember one of the years we took the boys to a corn maze, and they were, both of them were ambulatory. Like they were still young, but they could walk and run around. And they got in that corn maze, and it's a maze. And, I've got the world's worst sense of direction.
Me too. And I would get lost in it.
Well, they take off and they're like, bah! And they take off running, and they turn 2 corners.
And you're gone.
Dude, and you're like, it's real terror.
Cedric Diggory.
Right. It's like immediately you're just screaming in panic immediately in this corn maze. It's like, fucking coming, because in your mind, you're like, I'm never going to see him again.
Ever.
They're children of the corn. Yes, right. That as the corn is wont to do.
Yeah.
They
did have this
scary places.
He didn't go in the corn maze for that long, but they did have this thing where you could just throw your kid into a barrel of corn And boy, he
Like
loved
cobs of corn.
no, just the kernels.
Kernels.
They'd
Okay.
taken the
Because that
just
was
got a concussion.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, you could throw them into a barrel of wiffle ball bats if you want.
But
mag lights, whatever
boy,
you want, really.
that kid did not want to get out of that corn, son. He was all about it. The billy goats, he loved the billy goats, and that was all fun. Hey, I had a couple things that while we were on our trip, because I was telling Amber, I was like, "Hey, I need you to drive on the way back because I'm going to have to try to put something together for putting on airs." And she was like, "Okay, no."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "You got me." While I was driving, I just kept hitting her. I said, "Hey, text me this so I can remember it." First thing I wanted to ask you, and I think I know the answer. Where you at on mint juleps?
Okay. First of all, remind me to circle back to where you at on in a minute.
Okay.
Because you just said where you at on mint juleps. I know exactly what you mean. I don't, I think you know about me that I'm not a big mint person.
Right.
I don't love mint, period, really. Now, mint juleps involve like fresh muddled mint, right? Like muddled leaf. That I can handle, that or a mojito or something. Like I can handle that much better than like mint flavor, but it's still not my preference. Like if I went to the Kentucky Derby or whatever,
you'd have to get
I'd get one, and that
just to say you did,
and it wouldn't not hit for me. But it's never ever going to be my choice, though.
I brought it up because I feel like it's a very putting on airs drink because it like you only really hear about them at like I only ever think about the Kentucky Derby, which is like
I mean I don't think I've ever actually had a mint julep.
I have, and let me tell you, dog shit. I mean, and a mojito,
it's whiskey and bourbon, Kentucky bourbon and mint, right?
Like mojito I can handle, like a clear liquor,
mint and like lime and that. Yeah, it's like fresher and it feels different to me.
Yeah, but like in the mint julep, it's fancy because it's with horses and it's mint somehow makes it fancy, but it's whiskey, so it's trash. But I feel the same, like when I'm drinking, like, every now and then somebody around here will have like a Kentucky Derby party, which is just white women's excuse to buy a hat, which is fine. I'm for that. I'm a wrestling fan. Do your stupid thing,
I still want to go someday.
I do too.
We're still going to go someday,
Absolutely.
right? We got to go someday.
Absolutely. And I do like watching it because I put a little money on it and it's fun. Like
the race itself is cool. Yeah.
It's awesome. And I think going there, that whole experience would be awesome. And if we do, we definitely should hire a cameraman to go with us to do something for this show. But my point is, I feel like that. So they always have, it's like, we have our signature drink. It's the mint julep. And I always get shamed for not getting one. They're like, you got to drink a mint julep. It's Kentucky Derby Day. And I'm like, I don't want one. But I watch everybody drinking these mint juleps. And I think to myself, if these hit for you, you'd have them more than once a year. That's all I'm saying. You'd have them more than once a year. And secondly, I feel the way about mint juleps kind of the same way that I feel about dudes who smoke cigars, where I'm just like, you're putting on an act. You were pretending so hard to like this thing. Nobody here can possibly, and I know it's stupid. It's like, because I don't like it, that means no human being can like it. But I'm like,
totally with you on cigars in particular. Just like, because I've always said, I've asked so many people. I was just with another comic recently, and I can't remember who it was right now, but was like, you like cigars? You a cigar guy? Because there's like a lot of comics that fuck with cigars.
Big time.
And like,
I think Burr kind of started that.
Yeah, maybe. I know Burr and Burt and like a lot of those guys do. But even going back to like, dude,
comedy,
Josh Phillips used to be a big cigar guy.
Yeah, he used to go to Burns Tobaccoist every time he was in town.
He might still be. I don't know. But I'm just saying it's like definitely a thing. But so some comic recently was like, yeah, you cigar guy, whatever. And I was like, all right, I ask everybody this, but I'm going to ask you, like, it is correct, right, that when you smoke a cigar, you do not inhale it, right?
Yeah.
And they're always like, yeah, no, you don't inhale it. Then then immediately I'm like, well, then I don't get it. I was like, but secondly, aside from just not getting the point, I'm fucking white trash to my core, and it's like
inhaling.
I'm gonna inhale it.
Of course.
And so if it's like violently bad for you or make you ill or whatever, and that's why you don't inhale it, like then it's gonna fuck me up in a bad way because I can't smoke a thing and not inhale it. So no, I'm just not with cigar. But yeah, I just don't get smoking anything that you purposely don't inhale. I don't get what
you're just getting jaw cancer for no hits.
Right? Is it that?
At
Is
least
it that
get nicotine.
the smoke in your, do you hold it in your mouth and it still enters your bloodstream through your mouth? The nicotine does, so you get that's the idea,
I
and
was
then you
about to
blow it
ask
out.
you. I was about to ask you if there even was nicotine in like, because
cigars for sure.
yeah, okay,
I mean, it's
like
tobacco.
Well, I know, but I feel like with cigarettes, there's the naturally occurring nicotine in tobacco, but then don't they also add a little bit more, put some more stank on it?
I don't know if they definitely have additives, and I'm sure cigars do too, but I don't know. I think a lot of those are like flavor and shit like that. I don't know if it's actual like boosting the nicotine content or not. I mean, it might be. I just don't know.
I feel with cigars, they literally are just putting in their mouth because they're like, it's the taste, it's the flavor, and I'm like, I don't think I want to.
Does the flavor hit for you
of cigars?
Yeah.
No, not nan about it.
That's the thing too, because the first time in my adulthood, pretty much, that Tennessee finally beat Alabama in 2022, I went and got a cigar, and I made a social media post, and that's the first time I'd had a cigar in years. And I actually smoked it, and immediately from the very first one, I was like, "What the fuck?" Because I got like, I didn't buy absolute dog shit. I didn't get like top tier either, but like I got a at least mid-level cigar from an actual tobacco shop in that humidor room that they have. And it was just, I was like, dude, what? Why? How does this hit for anybody? I don't get it. Like, and again, cigarettes, my dogs.
Oh, boy.
I mean, I don't fuck with them anymore, but love them motherfuckers.
Think about them
hard. Yeah.
Think about
so dude, it ain't tobacco itself. It's just cigars in particular.
It's too much.
I've never understood.
They're like the dark chocolate of cigarettes, milk chocolate. I mean, I like dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate's fine.
It does, but you just know what I mean. It's real bold. It's a lot.
It's very bold. It is a lot.
But when you first got dark chocolate, I bet you were like, I don't know about this. Like, I feel like it's an acquired thing.
Definitely.
I actually made. Go ahead.
What did you compare to cigars?
Just now.
That's how we got on. You were like, I feel the same way about that as I do about cigars.
Mint juleps.
Right. And, you said if you really like these, you'd have them more than once a year. That made me think of something I wanted to bring up. And it's not literally just like one day a year. And maybe you don't do this, but I'm assuming that you do like eggnog, right?
I do. But again, not enough to ever have.
Okay, because you just seem like an eggnog man to me.
I know, dude. It's pancake batter you can get drunk off. Right, what's not to love?
But again, but look, I also like eggnog.
It's great.
Like I really do like it, but it's just so associated with the holiday season for me that like I do like it, but I only have it once a year.
Yeah, me too.
If that, not even that. It's like if I'm at a Christmas party where there's eggnog, I'm like, ooh, eggnog.
Yeah, right.
And I've told this story before. I once at our annual Friendsgiving we used to have when I still lived in Tennessee.
You made your own.
Like, I made like homemade legit eggnog with like raw eggs in it.
It's good.
And it's like, it's also got all that liquor. It kills any bacteria or whatever. But I did it like the old fashioned legit way. And like, it was fire, bro.
And nobody gave a fuck.
No. And I mean, some of my homeboys, dipped into it a little bit or whatever, but mostly people, especially a lot of the girls, when they found out it had raw eggs in it or whatever, that was a total deal breaker. And
absolute trash dipshits. Sorry.
A lot of it went undrunk,
Yeah, that don't hit.
But goddamn, it was so good though.
Well, you can make you can make funnel cake with it afterwards, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I do like it, but yeah, you're right. But now mint juleps are dog shit. Oh, dude, speaking of cigars, I actually made a buddy of mine decently mad when Bane was born. Because Bane was born, and
he brought you a cigar.
He brought me a cigar, and he's like, "We gotta go smoke a cigar." And I was like, I sort of like, it was like a very Curb Your Enthusiasm moment, because he was like, I could tell he was wanting to do this thing, and I was like, "No, I'll stand there while you have yours." He's like, "You got to smoke a cigar," and I was like, "No, I don't." And he's like, "But you just had a kid. Like, you have to smoke a cigar when you have a kid." And I was like, I refuse. I'm changing it. It doesn't hit for me. I feel like I just had a kid. I should do something that hits for me. Mm-hmm. That's the thing, is like the people have cigars.
Cut to you like pounding Jaeger bombs at a bar or whatever while Amber's sitting there holding it. Just taking your shirt off on the pool table, fucking singing along to David Allan Coe and stuff.
Yeah, snorting a line of Coke with pound cake in my mouth. Just having a fucking ball.
These are the things that hit for me.
Those are the things that hit for me.
I know, yeah.
Man, and that's another thing too. I think one of the reasons me and you've talked about this a bunch, but one of the reasons that I sort of continued drinking and leveled up at the party is because there was football on, but then also somebody did. It wasn't David Allen Coe, but somebody did on the Bluetooth. They hit some old like country. A a greater trigger does not exist for drinking than when Merle Haggard comes on. That's one of those moments where it's like it does feel like, oh, you just had a baby, you have to have a cigar. It's like Merle Haggard is on. There's a beer within arm's distance of you. It would be sacrilege for you not to have that beer. Am I making sense here?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely the right music. I always had like, like you said, I kind of I finally did get over the football game thing but when I was younger, I would watch football games with like, my buddies and shit like
Yeah.
that. And
Well,
now
me
I'm
and you
often
would
at
drink at
home.
fucking
Yeah,
9
right.
a.m. on
Yeah,
Sunday.
exactly. Right. Yeah. So, but
Red.
like the lake, I can't be on the lake and not,
Hell no.
have some like I don't understand the point of that either. And I know one that we differ on, which I don't ever even really go and do it anymore. But another one for me was always golf, which I know you're like a serious golfer, so you don't
Yeah.
do that. But like
But I do now. It's unfortunate, but you know why? It's because my buddies. Another thing that's a real big
and
trigger for me.
playing cards too. When we used to do that,
You got to. You're already being a degenerate. Like the only way losing, which you're gonna lose money if you're playing cards, and the only way that you can stomach that is if you're buzzed. Now the next day, when you're hungover and down 500, it hurts even worse. But at least at the time, you're like, it ain't shit. I'll make more. You know what I mean? Who gives a fuck? No, another thing, a big trigger for me is just if a buddy throws you a beer. Like, if a buddy says, "Hey, do
right?
you want a beer?" I can easily go, "No, I'm good." But if they toss me one and I catch it, the anxiety I have of knowing how stupid I'll look if I go, actually, and I like hand it back to him, like that's
Right.
too embarrassing. And my buddy got engaged the other day, and none of us knew that. He dropped that news on us while we were golfing, like we were on the second hole, and he just slyly threw it in. And we were like, "Oh shit, dog!" And as soon as he said that, he had prepared this moment, and he pulled out a cooler that he had brought that was just filled with ice cold fireball shots. And I was on like day 12 of not drinking, not even thinking about, but not even wanting it at all. And he starts throwing these shots out, and literally before my brain could click in to what was happening, I had downed two. And once the second one hit me, I was like, oh, dude, I wasn't drinking. Fuck. But well, here we are now. You know what I mean? Then the weed comes out. Then we're just like, fuck, all right, this is what we're doing.
I
You know
did
what I
almost
mean?
that exact same thing with cheeseburgers once when I was trying to go meatless for a while to like lose weight.
Somebody
Like
threw you a cheeseburger.
pretty much somebody like brought out like a plate of cheeseburgers at like at a hangout or whatever, and I'd been like, I'm off meat for a little bit because I was trying to lose weight, and I'd gone a few days and was like doing okay with it, and it didn't even cross my mind.
No.
He brought them out, and I was just like, whoa, and then halfway through it, I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be vegetarian right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, guess that's over.
Hey, not to
more cheeseburgers.
Not to sound gay, and I haven't done this in a while, but there for a while I was doing 3 days a week. I was doing vegan, and man, I'm telling you, if you at first it takes a little bit to find the stuff that you like, and you definitely need to be doing your own cooking. Like if you're not a cook, I could see where it's like impossible, but I am one, and so I really enjoyed those 3 days, and I found some stuff that was meatless that was great. However, on any of those days, no matter how dedicated I was, had someone come quick with a cheeseburger platter, I lose myself. I don't know who I am. Like there's certain things that happen where I like people. I think they think I'm being hyperbolic, but I literally black out. Like not from drunkenness, from like just I don't know if it's excitement or just like I reset to my former like somebody hit. It's like the Winter Soldier. Like if you say cheeseburger, liquor, beer 3 times fast, I just go and then the show's back.
Yeah, we really are like, like it is like another drug or whatever, like food,
Dopamine.
unhealthy food that hits. Like I have the same relationship with it that you would have with like drugs that if you just can't quit them or whatnot. Like it's an actual problem, but if like me or you actually went to like meetings for it, like those Overeaters Anonymous meetings, it would be like Dave Chappelle and and Half Baked, where they're all on cut. It's like you ever suck any dick for weed or whatever, like. like, just what the fuck you here for weed? That don't count. I think they would do that to us too because we're not. While we are fat, like I don't think we're fat enough for like fat meetings.
No,
but I really do. I feel it. I get it. It's like I lose control. There's certain like I was just texting you the other day. You were talking about vegan alternatives and shit, and I feel like we've come such a long way technologically speaking in those fields. They've done some wild shit with all these like healthier alternatives that do taste good, but they just can't get there with chips. Like,
yeah, I know, man.
like they're like, yeah, what you do is you bake kale until it like right.
First off, when you said bake, I need
some salt and bake it until it's like crispy.
Also, the beauty of chips is that a bag of chips is that I don't have to do shit. I just grab it.
And they just don't want my kingdom for a legitimately healthy like chip alternative that actually does hit, because like chips, like I can't be around them. It's like a fucking heroin addict being around horse, like it's the same. Like I just fucking go in on it. And if I can't stop, like once you pop, you can't stop. That's never been more true for me. Like if I allow myself to start with chips, like I'll eat the whole goddamn bag. Yes, it don't matter what size the bag is.
So or how full I am.
What I try to do is only allow myself to ever purchase tiny little bags.
Yeah. Yeah. You ever do that?
Because I'm going to finish the bag. So just get a smaller bag. But if I've got multiple smaller bags, then,
you ever do this?
All bets are off.
You ever do this lie to yourself, this facade where you go and you get like a paper plate or like a bowl and you go in there and you pour a little bit of chips in there and then you and you're like, I'm just what's in this bowl? And then you finish it and you go, oh, I can put more in the bowl. That's the first you go, nothing until something physically prevents me from being able to pour more in this bowl. It's going to be more in this bowl.
That concept was the very first Frog and Toad cartoon that we ever saw that made us realize that we are Frog and Toad.
There's which one
a Frog and Toad cartoon. Again, the first one that got us started down the hole. Me and you, Frog and Toad.
And we are. Y'all look it up. Me and Trae are Frog and Toad.
They were holding a box of cookies, and one of them goes, we should close this box of cookies so we don't eat any more cookies. And the other one goes, but we could just open the box, though. And the other one goes, that is true. Dude, like, that ain't gonna do shit.
Me and you are probably the healthiest toxic relationship that has ever existed, because we are, like, you can't deny that we're a toxic relationship, but we're not banging heroin and going out and get prostitutes and losing our house gambling. It's just potato chips and dip and stuff like that. But like yesterday, man, I went all day. I ate so good. Well, no, not yesterday, 2 days ago. I ate so good. Grilled wrap I made was just awesome. And I had my Metamucil in the morning, which helps me with everything and also keeps you full. It was great. And then at 8:00, I had to come over to my sister for something. And on her table and she's out of town, on her table, which means I'm eating everything in her house. I'm like, it might go bad, And there was a full bag of salt and vinegar potato chips. And I was like, and I had just had a protein bar, which was sweet. And that if you have something sweet, you got
a palate cleanse with salt.
You have to, right? So I was like, I'm just going to have one chip. It's fine to have one chip. Boy, you ain't never seen a bag run out that quick. I mean, in the family size, salt and vinegar. And salt and vinegar, it takes a lot of work. It's harder to eat a whole bag of salt. You know what I mean?
So they'll start to like fuck your tongue up a little bit.
Yes,
or whatever.
but hey, wasn't no problem for your boy.
Yeah, right.
Wasn't no problem for your boy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, also, speaking of food, we can stay. We can stay. I actually have one that's speaking of food and one that's speaking of country music.
I want to do both, but at the very beginning of this, when you say that's about mint,
where you at on?
Yes. So, and I texted y'all this already, but I haven't said it on the podcast. I was on the road recently with a guy that opens for me sometimes. He's a very funny dude. I mean, his name is Matt Bergman. He's hilarious. If y'all saw me in the Northeast recently, you saw him open for me, and he's a very funny guy and a smart guy and all that shit. But he's from a very different world than me. He's from Buffalo, New York, and whatnot. And I don't know how regional this is, but me and him were on the way to a different show in the Virginia run we just did. And I said, admittedly, completely out of nowhere, I said the sentence to him. I said, where you at on Jay Moore? Right?
Yeah.
Because I had gone down a Jay Moore Instagram reel rabbit hole that morning.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
For him. I'm for him.
Hardcore for him.
It could not be
because that's the whole reason I brought it up is because I was thinking it's like Jay Moore. And look, I'm sure surely y'all do, but if you don't remember, Jay Moore was like, he's a stand-up comedian who was on SNL at the age of like 21 in the mid 90s. Then he started starring in movie. He was in Jerry Maguire and he got his own sitcom and all this stuff. He was big.
Mickey Blue Eyes too, wasn't he?
And then he,
no, he wasn't in Mickey Blue Eyes. He was in the parody gangster movie. I can't remember what it was called.
But I can't either, but he was definitely in that. Was he
Yeah.
the lead in that? He might have been the lead in that.
Yeah,
But
he
anyway,
was like a James Caan parody or something.
Yeah, but and now and then, you know, he's talked. This is all like, you know, public information. He's talked about he struggled with a lot of addiction and shit, and kind of, you know, his life got a little fucked up for a little while. But now he's won more than any comic has ever won because his stepchild is the Los Angeles Lakers. He's married to Jeannie Buss, so like,
who is also really hot. Not that matters, but
and so he's absolutely crushing it now. But he's got a podcast. I was watching his Instagram reels, and also I met Jay, by the way, and he was a complete prince, very lovely guy. The one time I hung out with him, but I was like, God damn, this motherfucker is so funny, but not just funny. It's like he's a great storyteller.
He's engaging.
He's one of the best impressionists.
Absolutely. Very underrated.
And that's the reason I brought it up, because I was like, I feel like people don't.
We know, but people don't. Like, people always, when you think of impressionists, people go, oh, Jay Farrow, or, you know, it used to be Kevin Spacey was an absolute gem at it.
Frank Caliendo.
And what's his face from A Few Good Men?
Kevin Pollak.
Kevin Pollak.
And
Kevin Pollak's probably, I guess, Frank Caliendo, because he sort of broke out on Fox, but I feel like Pollak is like the standard.
Well, I think a lot of people, I could be wrong, and it depends on age, I think, but I think a lot of people think of Kevin Pollak as mostly like a character actor who like hits for them, and then they don't even realize he was a comic who does great impressions.
Well,
but anyway,
dude, me and you've talked about this before. It's insane because when he does movies, they all win Oscars. He's only been in shit that wins Oscars. It's insane.
Yeah, or Emmys, because he's in Miss
Maisel. Yeah, like he's got a great agent and a great eye.
But anyway, I love Kevin Pollak too. But I was just watching these, and any like person got brought up, Jay Moore would just go into an impression and just crush it every time. And so we get in the car and we start leaving, and I said out of nowhere, "Where are you at on Jay Moore?" And he was like, Bergman was like, "What?" And I said, "Where are you at on Jay Moore?" And he goes, do you ask what do I have on Jay Moore? You know, like, I was like, I want the dirt you have on Jay Moore out of nowhere. I was like, that'd be great. I said, where are you at on Jay Moore? And he was like,
like what season?
Yeah, right. He was like, what? He was like, what does that mean? Like he said he'd never heard that phrase before. And he even brought it up a couple of days later. I don't remember what the subject was this time, but he was like, yeah, I was going to ask you. And he was like, actually, how did you put it? You had, and he was like, you had that phrase for it that I'd never heard before. And I was like, where are you at on? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, dude, that's just a thing. Like, yeah. Right. Like that's not a me thing, or I don't think a South thing.
I don't think that's a region thing.
I'm about to say that's just a thing.
I mean, but maybe it is, because I only talk to Southerners. You know,
and so that's what I was wondering. And I've tried to Google it, but you can't Google it because it's like it's such a generic like, sounding phrase that like
all these other things pop
up. The best I can get to come up is the phrase "where you at," like just that, like
right. I wanted to say like,
where y'all at, like that, but that ain't what I'm looking for. But I can't Google it, so I don't know the origin of it. I don't know how regional it is, but it was just wild because I was like, I'd never met somebody that didn't know that,
Let's ask the Skooniverse. Where y'all at on where you at?
Where you at on where you at?
Where you at on where you at? Because I was going to say, no, it's not regional, because the person I know that uses it the most is Tony Schiavone, but fucking Schiavone's from Georgia. Like Schiavone.
It just doesn't, for some reason, it don't feel to me like a Southern origin thing.
To me also, now maybe this is because we grew up
I actually
knowing
would have thought it was probably from the Northeast originally. I don't even know why.
It doesn't feel redneck.
It just feels to me more like
but also,
hey, where you at on, fucking vodka sauce?
I know Bergman. I know Bergman's a smart guy. And again, maybe this is just because I've known the phrase and used it my whole life. But to me, it's like, even if you've not heard it, how the fuck do you not? Like, it seems, you know what I mean? Like, it just, what do you mean? What do I mean? Where you at? Where are you at on this? Like, where? I don't know. Like, that's odd. And I don't know how I would look that up. But because we have fans not only from different regions in the United States. We got, I think last month I looked at our downloads and we had a spike from like Brazil, like a pretty decent spike from Brazil. So we got people, we definitely, I think I looked it up one time, Puttin on Airs in some form of downloads is represented in like 100 countries or some shit. Like
That's awesome.
like a fairly some countries it's like 10 people. I don't give a fuck
Brazil,
though.
huh?
That's
Like, were we talking about dickhole catfish recently? I don't think so.
maybe we talked about soccer or something. We might have
Yeah, I
talked
don't remember
about
either of those because it's not Dickhole Catfish Awareness Month. I'm pretty sure that's February, sometime in February.
You know what it
Dickhole
is?
Catfish Awareness Week, rather, which we
probably
founded,
what it
of
is
course.
we got an expat that moved to Brazil and turned on a bunch of people to Putting on Airs because we do have, and thank y'all for this, by the way, Putting on Airs fans and people of the Skuniverse in general. We get so many messages, or like I had people when I was touring this summer that came to my shows and we're like talking about how much they love me and how much they love Trae and everybody or whatever, but they were only fans because someone was like, "Hey, you need to check these dudes out." You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah, I love that. Got to proselytize for us, baby.
Do it. We appreciate it.
Only other thing before you get into those two topics you mentioned I went to the San Diego Zoo yesterday. Only real anecdote that came out of that, and it sucks because you sort of had to be there, but it'll still hit at least enough, I think.
You should tell it like a good story. You're good at that.
We're at the orangutans, right?
Love them.
And they're one of my faves.
They're so great.
You
like bonobos?
Oh, yeah. You mean
bonobos?
Chonachos, chochachos, chochachos. The
Always,
choest of all monkeys,
dude,
which is really saying something because all monkeys are chos.
Every chonabos is just like, hey, excuse me, have you seen my asshole in the last 5 minutes? I'd love to show you.
Yeah, exactly. Because bonobos apparently are, and I don't know if it's bonobos or bonobos either, but whatever.
Who knows?
But anyway, they're apparently, I think, like the only primates or the only other mammals or whatever that do like, they like drugs. They like 69.
Yeah, I've seen them do it.
The two dude bonobos will 69. Two chicks, the lady bonobos will scissor and stuff. They eat each other's butts. They eat each other's ass. They they throw down. I reckon.
Not to be gross, but here I go. You've seen their assholes. You could easily fit 2 monkey dicks in there, and I guarantee
I'm sure they do.
I bet you they do, man. They're wild. They like to party.
So we're at the orangutans, and there's some of them over there playing around and stuff. It's fine, but then there's a big feller. It might have been a woman monkey. I'm not sure. Ape.
They're often big.
Right up against the enclosure, up against the glass, like laid down, not moving. If you look down, they're like, you see its fingers up, just like this right here, right?
Yeah,
and it was one of those moments where you're at a zoo where you're almost like, man. It's sad. It's just sad. And I don't want to be sad. I don't want to think about the dark parts of the zoo.
You try so hard when you go in there.
You go down that. Yeah, you start down that road, and that
octopus
ruin the day.
Yeah,
that octopus. Yes. And so he's sitting there like this. And Katie gets down first, like on one knee, and pulls her phone out and is trying to get real close and like take a picture. And I lean down there beside her, and I'm like, what's wrong, buddy? Looking like that. And Bishop leans down and goes, why are you staring at his butthole? and me and Katie both are like, oh shit. And it was like, that was its back feet. Cause monkey's feet shortly look like monkey hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they got them big ass toes that look like fingers. And his feet was just like curled up at its ass, like sort of in front of its ass. And their faces be wild and wrinkly too. So, but as soon as he said that, big K, we're both like, "Oh shit!" It's like we're like taking a very particular interest in this orangutan's butthole.
Yeah,
in front of everybody else. Also had to be looking at us like what the fuck are they doing? But we were down there in it. But yeah, So that was fun. You said that octopus. I know we've told the story before, but for a reminder for everybody, me, Corey, and Drew got high once.
As balls, like too high.
Back when I used to even do that. We got high as balls and went to the aquarium in the Mall of America, not bragging, in Minneapolis. And
it was cool as shit.
Yeah, it was cool as shit.
I suggest people
almost
go to
all of it, except at one point they had an octopus in there, and me and Corey and Drew just sitting there staring at it like slack jawed, like there's an octopus. Look at that octopus.
And it was like above our heads because like it was just like around us.
And then this guy that worked there, aquarium,
Jim,
octopus feller, walks up and was like, "Yeah, that's Jim the octopus. Tell you what." He's a little rascal, that guy. This is the 4th different enclosure we've had him in, this month or this spring or whatever. He's like, because he he just every enclosure we ever put him in, he always finds a way to escape. He just, he just wants to be free so bad, And he's like saying it with like a big smile on his face, and all three of us were just like, "Bro, fuck, man,
don't tell us that."
Yeah, like that is.
We want them to be happy slaves.
Really harshing this vibe, It's like the old Louis C.K. bit about taking his daughter to like the zoo, and there's seals there, and the seals like, arr, 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 and she's like, "What's he saying, Daddy? What's he saying?" It's like, "Fuck, I don't." Fucking, I'm a slave. Kill me.
Oh God.
Anyway, yeah, I just did a whole thing on my Patreon today in defense of zoos, though. So it's funny.
That's so funny.
Now that I'm
you're doing the Riyadh Festival for zoos. You're doing the San Diego Zoo Festival, getting paid by fucking whale poachers. You fucking sell out.
Okay, well now look.
SeaWorld. I go.
Right. Yeah, but also even as far I know, I literally just argued in opposition to this exact point, but that's not to put sea creatures,
dude.
Lord only knows.
They're aliens, man.
Different, but a lot of them, like, I don't know, dude. I bet for at least a good number of them that it kind of hits.
Sure. I mean, and also,
wouldn't it hit for you? Yes. You didn't have to get up and chase something down and kill it. They did every day, and somebody,
now
if you're ponytail chick just throws a fucking leg at you in the morning. You fucking just get to chill and do whatever you want. They brush your teeth and shit. They got better dental care than we do, buddy.
I couldn't agree more. The only thing is do they know that? You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of them are born in captivity, they don't know any other way. So there's part of me that goes, well, if they were born in captivity and they don't know any other way, then this is whatever to them.
It's also like, I kind of think, and perhaps this is profoundly ignorant, but the animals, they have these instincts, they have the drive and the need to like feed and everything to survive, right?
A gazelle needs to be on his fucking hands and knees every day thinking, God, he's in a zoo.
He ain't because gonna get his butt ripped out by a pride of lionesses, and that hits. Now, they're probably not aware of that, but they are aware that they're not running for their lives every day on some level. I would think they're aware of that. But also, it's like the predators, they have to hunt shit down like in order to live. So I would just think, even if you've been in the wild, that's all in the pursuit of food, so you live. And it's like having a massive bucket of food just given to you. You're like, bro, it must be my birthday.
I know, dude.
Every day.
Me and Amber were talking actually today about. She asked me something about Carrot Top. I don't know why. I had no idea why. And I explained to her like what a residency in like Las Vegas is like. And she goes, oh yeah, like Shania Twain. I was like, yeah, but comedians have those too. And I was like, and Carrot Top's had one for a long time. And, which is actually a decent topic for the show. It's like I don't know if let's say it's MGM. Let's say it's the MGM he works at. I don't know if it is, but
fuck. I literally just stayed in this. I stayed in that. It's the Luxor, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, whatever.
Because I stayed in the Luxor when I was there working the comedy club, where I got whipped by Carrot Top all week long. And it was.
I'd love to see a show.
It was in my hotel. Was his show? That's the only reason I know that.
Yeah. Well, and I was explaining to her. I was like, as a comedian, I said, first off, don't ever get your hopes up, because I'm not the type, and this isn't me dogging myself. I just know who I am, and I know who you have to be in order to be the comic that has a residency in Vegas. And I'm not that guy, even if I tried really hard. Like, I'm just not that guy. You've got to be very non-polarizing. And again, and I'm not talking shit. I think Carrot Top's awesome. I have a lot of respect for Carrot Top, and I would love to see his show. I will never say a bad word about Carrot Top. I'll never say a bad word about anybody that does what we do, as long as they're, not a monster of a human being. But like, if you've been in this business for that long and you're doing this well, fucking, hey, do your thing. Fuck Jeff Dunham. But other than that, you know what I mean? Like, I got no bad things to say, but I was like, you got to be more broad than what I am. But I was like, it is the life. I was like, because wherever it is that he's got his show, he also has a penthouse there where he live where he work. But his house is fucking awesome. It's great. He hangs out with Gordon Ramsay on the reg. Like, Wolfgang Puck just comes to I've seen so many videos of Wolfgang Puck just coming to Carrot Top's house just to cook for him, and then he goes and sees Carrot Top's show. You're boys with all those people. In Vegas is crazy. Don't get me wrong. Like, if you're just visiting or whatever, but if you live there, I'm sure you settle in, you figure out the lay of the land. But dude, you never really have to even leave that space. Like, you want to go down, and he probably gets house chips, you know, like not a lot, but like they probably, you know, couple grand a night. I bet you they let Carrot Top just go lose on blackjack. Go down there. It is inarguably one of the greatest food cities on earth. A lot of people don't think about it that way because they only think about it for gambling and whores and stuff. But like inarguably one of the greatest food cities on earth, and that is all at his disposal. And he like when George Wallace, who was actually our friend, so I can speak from experience talking to him. George had it timed out where when he had his residency, he would wake up. I think it was his shows like at 8. He would wake up at 7:45, roll over, throw his coat on, hit the elevator, be down, and be walking on stage as his opener was handing in his microphone. Dude, it don't get no better than that. Like, that's amazing, you know? Why did this get brought up?
You started by saying I was explaining Carrot Top to Amber recently.
Yeah, but it was about zoos.
Yeah. We were talking about zoos, and like I was saying, if you have a bucket of meat given to you every day.
If you have a residency and you're at the Vegas, you're basically having buckets of meat. It's like that. It's like if you're a comic and you get in that spot, everything is taken care of. You're not having to grind anymore. And you'd go like, well, what about that comic instinct of being on the road and working it out? And I'm like, I think you could get over it. You know, I think it's at the end of your career, you know, or whatever, you could be like, yeah, that was nice when I had to do it, but I sure do love just ringing a bell and a steak coming and me doing my act to a brand new crowd every night.
I wonder how often he has to put up with bullshit like with those audiences though, because everybody knows that like generally casino shows often suck because a lot of times there's people that like they're there to gamble and it's like, let's do another thing, I guess, before I lose the house. And then they lost a bunch of money. It's like, I guess we'll watch this fucking comedy show. And they walk in there and they're mad and nothing fits for them. Like that type of thing is what you always hear. But he's like,
he's a name. I think people are going to see him
there. Yeah, right. He's such a Vegas institution that he probably don't have to deal with that very much.
Also, he's a prop guy. So there's less room for the heckling because he can just have an accordion and just go, you know,
right?
Like, I don't like, and I'm not saying what he does is easy. What he does is hard because he builds. For people that don't know, he builds them fucking things. Like he takes a lot of pride in like when he comes up with a prop. He absolutely should.
You could give me the assignment, like come up with a Carrot Top prop that works, that hits.
Couldn't do it
by this Friday. It really wouldn't matter how long you gave me to do it.
No, a year I couldn't do it.
I could never come up with one.
I could conceptualize it, but to build it.
Well, dude, I didn't even mean that. Conceptualize. Let alone build it. Like, and I couldn't. That's one of those things. It's like you said about having broad appeal and stuff. It's like people have brought up before the idea of like, you know, selling out and doing like whatever, that type of thing. But I've always said it's like that. It's not as easy. It's not as simple as all that. Like
it's not selling out. It's cashing in, and there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right. But
I'm going to Saudi Arabia.
I'm saying if you mean like the idea of like, you know, just write like one of those like Chuck Lorre type sitcoms that, you know, CBS loves and runs for years or whatever.
Ask me.
No, I don't think I can do that.
You're right. I know. I understand. I get that because
of the exact thing you're saying. It's like that's just not how my brain works comedically. Like I don't know how to. It's not that like that I'm an artist and that's easy. So I would never I can't do that.
No, I'm with you. Matter of fact, and I'm not going to say what it is because writing anything is really hard. Getting anything made is really hard. But by
the way, what you said is also true. When people say that, it's like, okay, no one's asking. It's not like I can just walk up to Warner Brothers tomorrow and be like, hey, I'm going to do this now. And they're like, thank God, we've been waiting.
Right.
Like that also is
Chuck
true.
Snorri. Can't wait.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, even that aside, I lack the capacity.
But I got sent a script like a week ago or something for my consideration, which, by the way, please understand that don't happen a lot. I'm not just, and so because it don't happen a lot, for me to be like, no, like it was bad, right? But the parts of it that weren't structurally bad, I just didn't like. The jokes weren't my type of jokes or whatever. I'm reading it and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, because I go, dude, I might say no to this, and it might be the next big thing. For all I fucking know, because like, you know what I'm saying? Because there's so much that like gets really popular. And while I'm reading that script, I think to myself, it would be harder for me to. I feel in my heart it would be harder for me to write this script than it would for me to write a really
Absolutely.
good one. Like I feel like I've got a
Yeah,
good
for
one in me,
sure.
but like if you told
I
me you're like, hey,
totally
write this
agree.
dumb shit, I'd be like, I can't
I
because they would have a joke there, and I'm like, I would have never thought to say that because that's not good. Like
Right.
it would have never came
But
out
it
of my
probably will
mouth.
work.
But
I'll
it
say
will
this,
work, but it's
and I
not
know this
good.
is, we're getting to inside baseball, and I want to hear your other two things, but I'll say this about that. Uh, I've read, so I know what you mean, but if you read that script and you were like, "Oh man, this is bad," and you thought that about all of it, it probably won't end up being a
Sure.
surprise hit later, because I have read scripts for the type of thing we're talking about that like I don't find funny, or I'm like,
Well, you
this is
couldn't
some like
connect with it, and that
this
was
is
a
like
big part
some
for me. Is
broad, this is
yeah,
like broad appeal, middle American network sitcom type thing. I've read scripts like that before that made me go like, but
it'll
I
work.
can tell that this is a good
It's a
one of
good.
those. Like
Yes,
I can tell the
me
person that
too.
wrote this knows how to do that.
Yes, and it'll work.
So I would say if you didn't feel like that reading
No,
the
I
script you're
didn't.
talking about, well
Not
then
at all.
you're probably okay. I
And
think.
on top of that, like even if it was structured a little bit better, like I know this is going to sound like very up my butt and artsy, but like I didn't connect with the material, which like is important. Like in order for me to like fully invest in something, and I was just like, I just fucking, I mean, who knows, whatever. But like, point is, yeah, I agree with you. Like it would be, I feel like it would be easier for me to write an Oscar nominated thing than to write that. And I'm not saying I'm talented enough to write an Oscar nominated thing. I just think I'm closer. Like,
Yeah,
my
no.
sensibilities are closer to something like
Mm-hmm.
that because I'm reading it, I go, and I'm like, I know that you're trying to be funny here. I know that because I know what a comedic beat looks like. It just ain't.
Fellers, enter the room dick first. Why not? Way cooler than entering the room butt first, if you ask me. Nose first. Nobody wants to do that. No, dick first. Lead with your dick. That's what my papa always said. Talking about Blue Chew, once again, the sponsor of this wonderful program, the wonderful sponsor of this wonderful program. Blue Chew ain't just a tablet. No. It's far more. It's a cheat code for your crotchal region down there. Stronger, harder, longer lasting. Like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Like your wiener's been training MMA, buddy. Just fucking fired up, ready to go. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. Right meow. I'll tell you what, buddy. I think people that, have heard about these by now but haven't tried them, the main thing they want to know is like, I mean, does that really work? Even if it's like, buddy, you have no idea. Stay bricked up. The wildest part about it to me, I'll just be honest, speaking from personal experience, is like, I thought, you'd take it and a little bit later, you're just fucking like knocking glasses off the table and stuff as you walk around your house. It ain't like that. You don't just immediately just go to full mast and then, start losing blood in your brain and shit until you do something about it. It's not how it works. You take it, and whenever she's ready to go, you will be ready to go too. It somehow knows. I don't know how Blue Chew knows. It communicates with your dick and the vibes and everything, and just knows when you want your dick to stand at attention and when you want him to be chill. Blue Chew understands that. Don't ask me. I'm not a dick doctor. I'm not any kind of wiener scientist. I'm just saying, you take it and you can take it and you can go right then. You can get down right then, or you can take it and you can get down whenever an opportunity comes up. It's completely up to you. But yes, this shit works. It's truly wild. Another thing I always say about it's not just you're like, I get boners. I know how boners work. Not these boners. You ain't never had these boners. You may not believe me. Fucking give Blue Chew a try. Tell me I'm lying. The thing I always say is true. You will look down and be like, God damn, whose dick is that? Where did you come from, sir? It's wild. Guys, this ain't just about performance. This is about your legacy, specifically your third leg. See, give her group chat something to talk about. When you laying down, they're going to be talking about how you get it up. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. So discover your options at bluechew.com. And we got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew for free. Just use the promo code POA at checkout and pay a measly $5 for shipping. That's it. First month free, $5 for shipping. Can't beat that. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to bluechew.com for details and safety info. And a big thanks to Blue Chew for continuing to sponsor this silly podcast of ours. One last time, first month free when you pay $5 shipping. Use the promo code POA at checkout at bluechew.com. Get you a new dick. Y'all, let's talk about clothes for a minute. The way you look. I'll be honest, my entire life, I've not been the most sartorially inclined of a person. I don't know nothing about shit when it comes to clothes and how to look good. Never have, probably never will. But beyond just me being, clothing dumb, I'm also shaped weird and my body don't hit and stuff. And I just can't just get stuff off the rack usually and look worth a single solitary damn. It's like, I don't know. My arms are longer than they should be, as is my torso. It's like things that fit me up here are too short, so it rides up on my belly, which that don't hit for nobody. And the things that do fit up here are way too big down here. Looks like I'm wearing a damn bed sheet. These are the problems I've always had with shirts and clothing in general until I found this week's sponsor, True Classic. That's right, True Classic. They got a simple mission over there at True Classic to bring premium, comfortable clothing to the masses because, in their opinion, and it's an opinion I share with them, looking and feeling great don't need to come with a designer price tag. And yeah, I tell you what, they're right. They've cracked it. They've done the deed. I don't know why it took. It's one of those ideas that you're like, damn. It must be truly brilliant because I don't understand how it took the world this long to come up with it. True Classic was the first ones that looked at guys like me. It's like, look at all these guys that don't hit. We should make clothes that make these guys look like they do hit. And they somehow figured, I know some people might be like, we're clothing manufacturers, not miracle workers, Jim, but no, they figured it out. They did what they did. They tailored the shirt and the articles of clothing where you want it tailored. That's relaxed in the parts where you want it relaxed and tight in the parts that you want it tight, meaning like, makes your arms look good, makes your shoulders look good, makes your belly, blend in, like covers your belly up, loose around the midsection, tight up here where you got some stuff going on, that type of thing. They just know how to accentuate what works for you. No bunching up, no stiff fabric, no BS, just a clean, effortless fit that works for your real life. They, like I said, they fit properly in the places you want them to fit. They're very comfortable. They feel incredible and they won't break your bank on top of it. You get a tailored look without sacrificing comfort or blowing your budget, which is going to allow you to show up every single day with confidence and purpose. So you can join the more than 5 million satisfied customers. That's right. They've got over 200,000 5-star reviews over there at True Classic so far. 25 million shirts they've sold. 25 million hitting shirt fans can't be wrong, baby. And I'm one of them. So forget overpriced designer brands. Skip the cheap throwaway stuff. True Classic is built for comfort, built to last, and built to give back. You can find True Comfort on Amazon, at Target, Costco, Sam's Club, or our preference, if and you don't mind, head over to trueclassic.com/POA. That's trueclassic.com/POA and try them out for yourself. That's right. True Classic. You can hit too. Food or country music, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, your pick, whichever one. I got two food things.
We're going to do both?
Whatever. No, I don't think so because...
Well, then in that case, I say country music just because we've talked about food already earlier.
Okay,
so
yeah, fair. I had this sort of revelation earlier when... but let me preface this by saying I was listening to a lot of rap on the way home because I knew that I
couldn't... 90s, 2000s rap or new rap?
A bunch of Tupac, a bunch of Big Crit, a bunch of Ludacris. Right? It was like basically I was driving to do this podcast and I knew that I couldn't like drink or do drugs with my child in the back. So the next best thing to make me feel something is rap. It was like, let me just get in the zone. Unfortunately, you were talking about, I almost said this because you mentioned Bishop said that really funny thing about the butthole. And Bane is unfortunately at the age where he just be saying whatever it is that I say or whatever it is that he hears. And I realized that I have to probably tune down the rap a little bit because...
Bane, you don't want him saying that one.
Well, no. It's not even... That's funny because I said that to Amber. I was like, he'll cuss from time to time, but I was like, he can't say that because because I won't be able to convince somebody that he heard it from...
because of DMX, not me.
Right. But Bane said after the song was over, but I guess it spoke to him. But Bane looked at me and he goes, "You ain't nothing but a dope man's bitch." That's what he said.
Yeah. That's
And I was,
awesome.
it's great. And I loved it for a second. Then I was like, fuck, he's
Right.
really, because there's so many other things in that song he could have said that would have been very bad. But anyways, I'm listening to rap and I'm listening, Tupac comes on, which is another one. I'm so glad that, because it was hit him up, and like, oh boy, you talk about going in.
That's why I fucked your
Yo,
bitch, you fat motherfucker.
Take money. He just like, take money. Anyways, I was sitting there thinking about Tupac, and then y'all sent that screenshot of that Forgatio Blow or whatever the fuck thing. And I know, and Kid Rock was on there, right? And Tupac and Kid Rock should never be mentioned in the same sentence. I understand that, except for the thing that I'm about to do, which is they actually, in my opinion, have something in common, which is that what is the opposite of putting on airs? So I'm calling it putting on dirt, I guess, or putting on mud, because Kid Rock was born a very wealthy dude, right? Born a very wealthy dude, very privileged, from Detroit, not where country music is popular. And then he decided, fuck that, I'm going to cosplay as a dirty white piece of trash, right? Which is the opposite of what we maintain to do on this show, because we were born in the South. The whole point of this show is we're rednecks that aspire to higher culture, but he was a higher culture person that aspired to redneck stuff, right? And on the other end, you've got Tupac, right? Who, if anybody hasn't done their research, which by the way, this doesn't make me like Tupac any less, but like Tupac was, as we all know now, was not the gangster that he purported to be. Like Tupac was a very learned, his mom was like a fucking professor. He was going to be an actor. Like he almost went to Juilliard or some shit. Like he was very into theater. He was very much a drama kid. And he decided to put on this facade of, I ain't never had shit. I'm a fucking gangster. I had to kill for everything. And I just found that interesting, that they kind of, there is that notion of doing the complete opposite. Whereas like my mom was born white trash and she aspires to attempt to be a fancy lady. But Kid Rock has done the complete opposite, and Tupac kind of did the complete opposite. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, you fucking,
I know.
you laid out a minefield for yourself with this.
And by the way, they have another thing in common. They're both dead to me.
Yeah. So, all right. I got, well, first of all, with just Tupac, I know, because he was like a theater kid. He went to like some like the Baltimore School for the Arts or something like that. And like you said, was like, probably aspired to Juilliard or whatever, but like, didn't go. He's already into rapping and all that stuff. But like, and his mom was like a professor and an activist and all that stuff, like, is true. But his mom also, and before I just threw this out there, I looked it up because, he had the song Dear Mama or whatever. But like his mom also, they lived in Harlem before they moved to Baltimore. And his mom was like a drug addict who lost a bunch of jobs and had trouble finding work and shit. So it's like, whereas Kid Rock was like, his family, as I understand it, I've seen pictures that purport to be, this is like the house, the area that Kid Rock grew up in. No idea if those are real or not.
Right.
But like, I've always heard that Kid Rock, like it's like a cliche running joke. We were talking about like a rich kid douchebag. It's like, my dad owns a bunch of dealerships, bro, or whatever. I think that's literally Kid Rock's situation. His dad owned a bunch of dealerships. So like they had like money, as I understand.
Oh yeah.
And Tupac was from a like
gated community,
cultured artistic house, but I don't think that they had very much money or anything like that. So Tupac, it's like,
and for the record,
so
I am not
saying as egregious or anything.
Well, that's true, but for the record, I'm not saying that either one of them is wrong. Like I knew that about Kid Rock and still fucked with him. It's when he took the act to his personal life. When he like tried to be like, if you want to just do your songs like that, that's awesome. But then when he started doing the like, I'm Hank's son, and then he started, co-opting the rebel flag and like, and I grew up and realized that wasn't good. I don't like, however it is that you make your art, whether it's playing a character or whatever, like Bob Dylan's real name ain't Bob Dylan, fucking Jerry Jeff Walker's real name ain't Jerry Jeff Walker. Jerry Jeff Walker's from upstate New York, and he decided that Jerry Jeff Walker's a good name for a dude from Texas, and he adopted that persona, and he made some of the best fucking Texas music ever, and I think it's awesome. I don't have a problem with that at all.
Fogerty and CCR are from like the Bay Area, right, or Northern California,
and they aped Louisiana.
Yeah, and to great acclaim and
You know, they
effect.
never had a number one hit.
What? No,
Never. Never had a number
I
one
did
hit.
not know that. That is wild.
Yeah, I could be making that up. I
But
don't think I am, though.
yeah, no, it's actually a very common thing for sure. It's like, I mean, a lot of country artists today do it all the time. It's like, you do what
Works.
hits and what works, and it's just as simple as that. I think with Tupac in particular, though, um, I feel like you almost kind of had, if unless you were Will Smith, which I don't think he, wanted to be, like you almost kind of
Had to, well, yeah,
had
of
to do
course.
that.
If you're gonna rap, yeah.
Yeah, right. And so, but also like Tupac got shot, he went to prison,
Again,
he
he
had some
committed.
bona
You
fides.
know?
Yeah, but like fuck. Well, oh, I just saw the other day, but I can't remember who it was. Some like modern-ish rapper recently, apparently. I got my algo sent me something about I can't remember who it was. I don't think I'd even heard of him before this happened, but he like admitted on a podcast that, he wasn't like from the streets or whatever.
Right. Papa
Like
Doc.
he rapped about that, right? That he was a Papa Doc type. Like and basically on the podcast, he was like, he's like, well, dude, I'm just fucking like I'm just rapping, but it's
I'm an
rap.
artist
I
as a
just rap out
character.
my
Yeah.
songs. I'm an art, yeah, whatever. But he like basically admitted that, and like apparently that was pretty much it for him.
Well,
Like,
because
again, maybe this particular songs he was doing and the fan base he had cultivated in particular, like, well, fuck that then. But I reckon it pretty much torpedoed himself by admitting that. So
right. And I mean, I guess I get it because, like, but with those dudes, like, to your point, it's like back then, especially, it's like, dude, if you want to rap, this is what it is. It's East Coast, West Coast, it's fucking NWA, it's whatever. And like now, if you're not from the streets, you either have the option of like, okay, I pretend I am, or you got to go like the Lil Dicky route where it's like you're so overt about it that it becomes the thing. And if you don't want to do that, then, which I understand why somebody, wouldn't want to do that, because like those dudes, they still grew up idolizing DMX and all those guys. So they wanted to rap like them, because I mean, dude, like fucking how many people from Bakersfield, California did country because they were like, well, we were born here. I know it's not Nashville, but like we like country. So that's what the fuck we're going to play.
Well, in that particular case, because you've been through there too. Like
Yeah,
Bakersfield
it is
is
different.
like perhaps the redneckiest part
For
of
sure.
California, or
For
it's
sure.
up there at least. So
For
like,
sure.
But
and that's true. Like people, for some reason, people have this idea that like country music should, some people, not everybody, some people have this idea that country music should only be ever made by people below the Mason-Dixon, which is crazy because if you've been to Washington, some parts of Washington State, it's like their culture is the exact same. Why? So they can't play three chords in the truth because they're from the north part of where rednecks are. Like that's ridiculous. And again, I said Jerry Jeff Walker, like, tell me that motherfucker wasn't born to sing country shit, born in upstate New York, which, by the way, upstate New York, there's
Also
a reason Levon Helm lived there because he felt at home with those people. It wasn't much different than Arkansas, where he was, born.
No. And
So
so
that's
great swaths of the Midwest are just,
dude,
just the South with a different accent,
I would say that a lot of this contemporary country, if we're going to call it country, which I guess we will for these purposes, I would probably say that so much of the Luke Bryan type motherfuckers, they probably hit harder in the Midwest than they even do in the South. Because in the South, don't get me wrong, we still have stupid people that like it, but I do think there's more of a like, where we're from, you still need to be like, no, I'm a Waylon guy. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm a Waylon, I'm a Hank, I'm a whatever. Whereas like, I don't think the Midwest really has that like cultural identity with like Hank Williams is from Alabama, Nashville's right there. So I think in the Midwest, like all that fucking Jason Aldean shit probably bops even harder than it does here in Georgia, wouldn't you say?
I totally agree. I mean, yeah.
Because people in the Midwest are stupid. Not the ones listening to this show, by the way. Not the ones listening to this show, by the way.
They're also, let's be honest, they're more apt to like, do
stuff
all
that
that.
Sucks.
Right.
Because they're stupid.
They're more apt to like just open a bunch of cans and put it in the same dish together and be like, hey, I made casserole or whatever. Like
and ain't nothing wrong with that
type of shit. Like just cream of chicken soup and cream cheese, everything all the time, ranch dressing, all that stuff. All of which are things that I do like. But you know what I mean? It's like a lot of their like culinary traditions
and look,
and I know, revolve around those types of things, which I associate with
dumbasses.
Brian music.
Yeah, just absolute dipshits. And by the way, Please, I know that there's so many people screaming at their radio right now, and you should. That was stupid. Because you're going, what? You're really, you two are saying that there's a region where people are dumb. I hear you. Okay, I hear you. People in the South equally as dumb. It's just that we make up for it by having way better food, way better music, all that stuff. So like we have that. Y'all don't have that shit. Like we're like, yes, Alec Baldwin is a dickhead, but have you seen him act? You know.
To be fair to our Midwestern listeners,
I love them. They know it.
Right. They like you said we have way better. That same thing I said a minute ago. Again, it's on theme with this whole little section we're in right now because it's like really, it's a sort of like kind of white trash type thing or whatever. I mean, like, because like, frankly, my in-laws, they cuisine be a lot like that. Like, there's plenty of people in the South who do all the exact same shit.
Absolutely.
That love Luke Bryan.
Because they're stupid like Midwesterners.
But it's not,
they're the Midwesterners of the South.
Like those people, I don't know because again, I said white trash, but it's like that. I also, you think of white
churchy,
trash.
Churchy. It's churchy.
Like, yeah, right. There should be a specific word for like those
wasp.
People. I mean, wasp. No, because
you're right.
Weren't the like
white Anglo-Saxon Protestants?
Like, there's like rich people in Massachusetts who
Baptist.
are wasp.
I think the word is Baptist.
Yeah, but I don't think they are all literally Baptist. But it's like
Church Christ.
It's like unrefined white people, right? That aren't necessarily, and they can be, but aren't necessarily like
they got their teeth,
have neck tattoos, and a rap sheet this fucking long, and a meth lab out back or whatever, like full blown white trash,
middle management.
Right. Yeah. Like
something like that.
There's not, I don't, unless it's escaping me.
I think it used to be called middle class, but we don't have that anymore.
We don't have that anymore. Yeah. But we need a slur for these.
Yeah, we do. Well, we used to have berms. It was berms.
That was just an us thing. But
it wasn't us thing.
Basically, I am talking about berms.
But it's berm. So there you go. We invented it. It's called a berm. And if you don't know what a berm is the thing. Ain't it the thing on the side of the road, the little raised thing on the side of the road where you're like, I know it does something, but I don't care. I think that's
the little raised sticks or cylinders. Those I think are called bollards, but I think berms are
berms and bollards.
Berms can also be bollard's not a bad word.
Bollard's good. It sounds slurry.
Right.
It sounds more slurry than
goddamn bollards. Just full of bollards in here. But berms, I think, are like the big concrete, like divider things, or whatever, on the side of the road. But it also can be, I think, berms can be made out of dirt. Maybe it's like any sort of like barrier.
And just so you know, and they are a barrier to culture, to progress for minorities, and all sorts of things. And just so you know, berm doesn't always is a bad thing. Like sometimes we've said many times we're jealous of berms because they seem to much like people from the Midwest, easily entertained, not a lot going on in the brain, so it's like super, like they watch Hubie Halloween and they're like, can't wait for another one.
Have you seen that?
By the way, no, I haven't. But let me just say this real quick.
I'm glad you said that because I've had multiple people tell me that movie actually like hit.
I've heard that too. I've heard that too.
And I've been like, okay, this October I'll watch that with my family, but I'd totally forgotten.
Let's watch it together.
Because I'm going to put that on my list.
Let's watch it this week and talk about it next week briefly. I want to say this real quick. I think most people, especially like all our Midwest fans, they've heard my chicanery for years and years. I do feel I've gone to Iowa so much now that maybe I'm getting a little too comfortable talking shit about y'all, and I'm sorry. I would like to apologize right now. It's part of me feels like my wife's family's from there. I'm there a lot during the year, so I have some sort of like claim citizenship, but I know that I don't know y'all like that, and I would like to apologize to you fucking dumbasses. I'm just kidding. Y'all aren't. They're good people. But they can't fucking cook. Their taste in music is dog shit. Menards is good though. I love Menards, and you save a lot of money there.
You do save a lot of money at Menards, yeah.
Quaker Steak and Lube.
I think that we should, because I already. By the way, I don't know where we ended up putting ads this week, but I hope it hit for y'all. But yeah, so we're at about an hour 10 without those. So if you got any airmail, I say do it because I can't follow you shitting on the Midwest like you just did.
Okay, well, I'm very sorry. And let me if Burns, if I fuck this up and you have to edit a little bit, I obviously didn't vet any of this because I just came in. Okay, here we go. Subject line: Corey and Drew hybrid plus hours logged. I recently rewatched Close Encounters. Again, I didn't vet this, so I don't know where this is going. I recently rewatched Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and I kept feeling like Richard Dreyfuss looked so familiar, especially when he smiled/laughed, only to realize that he is a Corey and Drew hybrid. I can't unsee it. Speaking of movies, Corey is always talking about movies or shows he's recently watched, and I got to ask, how many hours of watching do you log a week? Keep up the laughs from a Knoxville born. My family used to own/run the Cross-Eyed Cricket. You know the Cross-Eyed Cricket?
Oh man, I don't know. I definitely should, obviously, but I'm not sure that I do. It definitely sounds familiar, but I can't remember what it is.
Anna Crystals and Hardy's loving fan, our buddy Nathan. I can tell you right now, I don't know if I could be able to tell you exactly how many hours I log because TV shows sort of get away with me, but like on average, I tend to, and I'm not kidding, and this is 7 days a week, I watch 2 movies a day easily, without question. Because I often get up before my family and I'll throw on like a 90-minute hitter. And then me and Amber, like that's sort of our love language is every night. Like that's how we wind down. We watch a movie and we go to bed. Or again, we might be into a show and then, but we'll still watch a movie's worth of shows or whatever. So but yeah, like I think this entire year I've watched at least 2 movies a day, sometimes 3 if I'm like not feeling good or I can't sleep. So like, what is it? October? I've easily watched 500 plus movies this year, easily. Like no
Do
question.
you have a movie on during the day while you're doing something else, or
But
you
yes, but
sit and
yeah,
watch devoted
no,
attention?
both. No,
Okay.
both. There's always a movie on when I'm doing something, but I don't count that one because that's always a movie that I've already seen a bunch, and it's just on in the background to be like my buddy, my comfort, like a Tombstone. But I don't count that. I wouldn't count that. I've already, But like, no, I'm talking about like if I wake up at 9 and Bane's not out of bed, and I go to my sister's to work, but I like to wait until Bane wakes up before I go because I want to kiss him goodbye and see him, and also I make his egg every morning. I do the egg and the tomatoes and all that stuff. And I'll throw a movie on, and I watch a lot of old movies. And the beauty about old movies is like there for a while they sort of had like a 85 to 90-minute rule. Like that's just what old movies were. They were like 90 minutes in and out, and like that ain't fucking shit. Like I throw on one at 9, I'm done by at 10:30. No problem. So yeah, I'll do 2 a day, easy.
So
Okay,
that's that era of Richard Dreyfuss, and I can kind of see it. Yeah,
his face ain't round like mine. Not
I can
enough.
see it's a little bit round though. I think
Yeah,
it's not sharp.
I think I'm
like
more of a Timothy Busfield guy.
Timothy Busfield.
Remember him?
No, I don't think so.
Field
But
of
I
Dreams.
always thought that it really honestly not right here,
He's
but
the
more
poor
like
man's Dreyfuss.
in Jaws and stuff. I always and
Yeah.
anybody listening's not gonna know what this is, but I always thought that our buddy Max Fine kind of looked like Jaws
Absolutely.
era
He
Richard
does.
Dreyfuss. Yeah, I mean I've told him that before.
Timothy Busfield is the poor man's Richard Dreyfuss. He was in Field of Dreams. He was Allison Janney's love interest in The West Wing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I see. He's more round faced, so I'd say that I'm more of a him.
He definitely is more round faced. Yeah, but
see, this how you know I watch a lot of movies. I'm fucking throwing Timothy Busfield at your fucking face. Come on, dude. Like there is nobody on IMDb that I ain't clocked. You know what I mean? I know all the dudes who they've been in with whatever. It's a passion of mine. I love it. And by the way, you know who we have to thank for this? Andrew Reich, because this started about 8 years ago when we had that first pilot.
mm-hmm.
I was already a guy who I thought I watched too much then, and I was explaining to him. I was like, man, I said I feel horrible. I was like, I feel like I waste so much of my day. Like I was like, I'll watch like 3 or 4 movies a week, and I'll watch like a couple episodes of a TV show at night. And I was like, I know, when I'm doing that, that's just time I could be spent writing. And he basically did the McConaughey. He goes, oh, you got to get them numbers up. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, your job is to watch as much as you can. He's like, he goes, Hemingway said, if you don't have time to read, you don't have time to write.
I thought Stephen King said that.
I thought it was Hemingway. It's probably one of those that they had just attributed to Hemingway, but King probably said it.
Maybe you're right. I don't know. I'll look it up. But yeah, I was going to bring that saying up if you. But
it is true. He's like, you want to make movies, you want to make TV, then you should watch the good ones, the bad ones, see what works, see what doesn't. And if I wasn't because anybody that follows me on my hero,
according to Google, it's Stephen King.
Okay,
I think it's from his very awesome book about writing called On Writing,
which is
I
just so good.
recommend to anybody. Yeah,
I recommend that to people, even if you're not like a writer. Like if you just want to like be like, how does I want to know what Stephen King, like the process. It's so fascinating the way that he goes. And by the way, he's one of one in that like even like fucking Aaron Sorkin said he's like 90% of the year is spent thinking about writing and only 10% is spent writing. That's not Stephen King's deal. Like that motherfucker wakes up every day and is like, we're doing 500 pages, and I can't fathom.
I think actually, I believe, and this is a great system. I think he like sets a minimum page limit for every day.
And he's like, and if you do that, you'll get a novel every 4 months.
It's not really that many, but it's either like 5 or 10 or something. But he's, or maybe not even that much. But he's like, but some days I do 50 or whatever.
Right.
Like if I'm feeling it, I just keep
make
going,
yourself stop.
But I have to get at least that much done, and that's his system. But
well, I mean, if you write 1 page a day, you got a novel in a year.
I just don't like. I get up and whatever. When I'm at home, I get up, I work out first thing, and I start doing whatever work shit I have to do, and then I cook dinner, and I'll do something with the boys, which sometimes is watching movies, but not always. Sometimes it's playing video games or playing a board game or whatever. And then when they go to sleep, yes, me and Katie, or just me alone if she falls asleep early, we'll watch stuff. But when I say stuff, we're talking 2 episodes of a 1-hour show per night, or maybe 1 movie, and that's pretty much what I do. So. Anyway, go ahead. You got another one?
I do. I don't know how this is going to go, but we're about to get called out. There's no way we're not from the subject line. Grammatical grievances. Since you aired one last episode, I thought I'd beseech you to use your platform to educate your audience and help preserve what's left of proper English. Don't get me wrong, I'm not fancy, overeducated, or rich. I understand that language evolves in real time, and that's natural, but I cannot abide this latest linguistic perversion, and I'm afraid I'll go off on someone in public if it keeps gaining ground. It's got nothing to do with the slang the kids be spitting. It's something we Gen Xers were taught was fundamentally wrong in early middle school, but I don't remember being bothered by it until a handful of years ago, which I honestly believe means it wasn't as prevalent. Because it's like an ice pick in my ear every fucking time I hear it, which seems to be almost every day lately. So, gents, would you please implore your audience to make a conscientious effort to stop saying her and I? Jesus fucking Christ, how the fuck does that even sound okay? It's obnoxiously wrong, and I'll prove it. Let's say we have a female friend named T, and let's say she went to the store at some point in the recent past. How do we describe that? T went to the store. She went to the store. Her didn't go to the fucking store. Her went to the store. Is that something you'd say about a friend? Where's T? Her went to the store. Would you not feel idiotic speaking that sentence? You should. Now, let's say T went to the store and I went with her because I needed some shit too, and she was driving. We both went to the store. She went to the store. I went to the store. She and I went to the store. I don't understand how this corruption has taken hold, and I suppose I'm on the losing side of this. It feels like I'm trying to hold back the tide, but somebody has to say something. I do, but I can only reach a couple of people at any given time, and I probably come off like a dick in those moments anyways. Any support you could lend would be more appreciated than you could know. Love you. I don't know anybody that says that.
I would thank you. I was thinking the same thing. I admire your passion.
I love the passion.
Where you're, where you're coming from and where your head's at.
Yeah.
But I agree with Corey. I'm not saying I've never heard that, but I have not personally found that to be a particularly pervasive grammatical,
because
what am I trying to say? Grammatical, like plague. That's too much of a too serious of a word.
If you and Katie went to the store and you were trying to tell me that, you would probably say me and Katie went to the store.
Me and Katie, sure. Me and her, but not,
I'd be like me and my bitch went to Publix.
He said her and I.
Her and I
is what not to say. Which obviously, yeah, but it's like. It's supposed to be she and I. I get that. And I know, but yes, if I was you, I would say,
wouldn't even say that.
I would say, yeah, me and Katie.
Yeah. I like to say people's names.
But I wouldn't say her and I.
In this world.
If I'd already said, I was like, yeah, so Katie, the other day, she and I, or me and her. But I would not ever say her and I. And I feel like I don't hear that very often. But you seem to be, the reader or
they get
writer.
it. I believe them.
Yeah,
I believe him.
You seem to be pretty, pretty well versed in this.
Now, granted, I added a little bit of that passion with my reading, but there you go. That's the airmail this week. Trae, where are you going to be?
I will be in November. Starting in November, we got Madison and Milwaukee, Dallas, Oklahoma City, November 19th, Largo in Los Angeles. Please come to that with a special guest. It'll be fun. Added a weekend in Fort Wayne, Indiana in early December at the Summit City Comedy Club. So Indiana, come see me. And then me, Corey, and Drew will be together again, home for the holidays, as we are every year, the weekend before Christmas at Zany's in Nashville. Those are always a big old fun time. So please come to that. And then a bunch of other dates already up in 2026, Sacramento, Spartanburg, Wilmington, bunch of places. So check them all out at TraeCrowder.com and come see me. Please, for the love of God.
Do it or I'll kill all of you. Hey, WeLoveCorey.com, aside from public domain Sleepy Time Theater, which I have, and we're reading Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, I also started a new segment, and the first 2 episodes are up now. It's called, I'm calling it 4 and 7 Beers, and it's just little history stories, little bite-sized 10-minute stories. The first one is about Warren G. Hardin fucking a lady in a broom closet, and the second one, we've talked about it on Putting on Airs plenty of times, but I sort of did it in more of like an essay form where I read it out and there's graphics and stuff, is Andrew Jackson and his foul-mouthed parrot that got kicked out of the funeral. Classics. They're fun, and you can get them all at WeLoveCorey.com. Go follow me there, and I'd love your money because I need it for to pick fucking apples for a peck. By the way, they come in bushels and pecks. Ain't that cute?
Yep.
We got a peck.
Nice.
You get half a peck too, but I went for the peck.
Gotta go full peck.
All right.
Absolutely.
Stay fancy, motherfuckers.
Skew.
Here's Lydia Lovelace.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Royalty and rednecks are alike. They both like cutting and picking fights. Biscuits and baked beans where they don't belong. Sit on down with Corey and Trae and learn some fancy shit today. We'll laugh a little even when they're wrong. They'll take you to a magical place where if you call someone a cunt, nobody cares. They keep it debonair at Putting on Airs. Putting on Airs. Putting on Airs.